Greetings, this is rsmalec on the Minecraft Band Builder server for Rio the Rio's June competition, and today I'm going to be building a giant bubble. So the point of this is a monthly competition in which members of the server can choose a plot, and following the theme that's laid out for them, go ahead and build whatever it is you want. The winner receives, I think, some Terrans and a special title for the current month, as well as, I think, the powers to do world edit. Now, since I've already had those powers on Minecraft Band Builder, I've got a little bit of an advantage, and I'm not really eligible for the full prize, but my inspiration for this glass sphere is really just being out in the summer and blowing soap bubbles, so I spent a lot of time trying to get the blower correct. In fact, if this blower was not correct, I would have completely scrapped the whole build. This was actually my second attempt to populate one of these glass spheres. The first attempt, I wanted to do something like a Cybertron from Transformers, where I wanted to use upside down stairs and right side up stairs and make this spiky techno looking planet. But after about 3 or 4 minutes, I just decided it wasn't looking at all the way I envisioned it, so I moved on to my backup plan, which was someone blowing a giant soap bubble. Of course, you can see my world edit skills are a little bit rusty, so occasionally I wipe out some blocks or I mistype a command, but it's all good in the end. And once I was able to finally get the blowing stick just about where I wanted it, I decided I need to have someone actually blowing the bubble, and because they were blowing the bubble, the part where the soap would touch the stick needed to be elongated a little bit, so I did place some blocks by hand. Here is where I basically start to create lips that are blowing air into the bubble, and as you'll see in a moment, I realized that these were really going to be two-dimensional, and so I decided to try and make them a little bit more 3D, and then I decided that that was not going to work. And no matter what, I decided I wanted the player to be able to go into the bubble, so there had to be at least one space between the lips and the bubble blower. But what you'll see here is I actually go ahead and scrap the lips idea shortly and go with something a little more Minecraft, a little more basic, and I like the way that it turned out better anyway, because a giant face would have, I think, looked kind of strange. There's a couple other bubbles in the background with giant faces I didn't want to copy too much off of anyone else. I was actually surprised as I flew around the area that I had not seen any other giant bubbles. And of course I had to hit F5 to take a look at myself because I actually wasn't sure what I looked like. And of course what I'm trying to do now is my Minecraft avatar. Kind of a funny note on these glasses, I ended up building the whole face one block too high compared to my actual skin. I didn't realize it till later on. You'll see me actually go ahead and lift the face up, give myself a little facelift in a little while. But I have now, after going on the UR Minecraft server and then something in my dropper map where I used giant avatars, I think this is like the 4th time I've had to create my own avatar. You'd think by now I know what I look like, at least what my skin looks like. So the rest of the time is pretty straightforward. It's just building my my avatar. Nothing super special there until we get to the arm part in a little while, but I'll let you enjoy this. One thing that I really wish was there was one more shade of blue, maybe a little bit darker than the normal shade of wool. In particular, I wanted to use that on the belt buckles that hold up the pants, and I would like to somehow differentiate the two legs. I was actually thinking about making one of the legs stick out a little bit forward of the other, but in the end he's just standing straight. I also miscalculated the width of the body somehow. I'm not exactly sure how I did that, but I wanted to make his arms sticking out here and holding onto the bubble blower. So you're going to see me sort of readjusting the arm into a bend that's not too realistic but looks credible in Minecraft. I was trying to think of how it looks when you put your arm up into a blocking motion. So it's sort of on an angle, but it's not quite on the right angle. And of course, every time I made one adjustment, I would realize the position of the mouth as compared to the bubble blower was a little bit off, and then the arm wasn't quite touching the bubble blower, and then it looked too blocky. So it took me a little while to get a good enough angle to where I was satisfied with that. And then I was able to move on to the next arm. There you see me replacing with 8, which is water, instead of 9, which is water instead of 99, which was a bit of an accident. And I do that from time to time. Luckily there was no redstone or anything on the ground that could get wiped out. You can see me sweating some of the small details, like how wide the belt is. And then here, even though I would love a way to turn my cape off so that I can do more with skins in the back, I had to calculate exactly how big that creeper face is on the back of my cape. And after playing Minecraft for almost 2 years, I think, you would think by now I know how to make a creeper face without having to look at a reference, but I don't. So here's where I realized that my face was too high. I went ahead and moved facial features down, and I think at this point I'm just about ready to decorate inside the bubble itself. Now, if you've ever blown a soap bubble, you know that the outside is obviously clear, but the inside of the soap bubble is smeared with all kinds of myriad colors and of the rainbow, blues and greens and yellows. And so the only way I could really think to do this, I know someone suggested using ice, but what I really wanted to do was create a sphere inside of the glass sphere, which was flush with the inside, but didn't break any of the glass, and then go ahead and replace it with about 60% of air, 10% pink, green, yellow, and light blue all together. So you'll see me actually trying to do this maybe 10 different times until I get it in just the right position, and I think the end result turned out okay. Other than that, it's a pretty straightforward build. I think I did some I remember what I did after I colored the bubble, which you'll see in a second here. I think this is my second or third chance at trying to get that sort of oily interior just right. And then at some point I decided I would probably even need to light this up at night, so I go ahead and add some glowstone into the mix as well. I can't really imagine doing this build by hand. It would take many hours. As it is, it took me just about 1 hour if you cut out all the time that I was getting to the plot and getting things ready. And then, I would say an hour is a good time for a build. I was actually starting to get a little bit antsy at this point. I was like, okay, I just want this to be done now, so it'll be good enough. I'll do a fly around, and I realized that there was one more element that was probably missing from the build overall. Actually, at this point, I realized that my arm, I wanted to be down on an angle, and then I realized that looked too strange, sort of like a vacuum tube, so I left it where it was. Here's where I started adding in the glowstone that I mentioned a minute ago. And at this point, there was quite a few other builders on the server. I think there was about 15 entries already. So I was really encouraged that the Minecraft Bandit Builder server is still going pretty strong, even though I just haven't been on in a while. I've had so many other projects that I've been working on, and I just haven't found the right draw to go on a multiplayer server and do random builds. So I kind of surprised myself that I was interested in doing this one, and I'm glad I could go back and support these guys because it's a good group of people. So here I add a bottle of bubble liquid. Of course, you need that to dip the bubble blower in. And I tried to make the cap in a vertical style. I ended up making it way too big for the bottle. So I went, and you can see I'm kind of doing this by hand, which might surprise some of you, but for whatever reason I just felt that was the way to do it. And then I wiped it out using World Edit. And after I think one more try, I basically decide, okay, this isn't working. The cap's going to be laying flush on the ground where it has been discarded after being unscrewed from the top of the bubbles bottle. So we're almost done with the build now. Decide that cap doesn't look quite the way I want it. Go ahead and build one quickly on the ground. And then I started using some of the new mushroom textures, which are finally available in World Edit, and then decided that the bottle itself needed a label. Signs didn't look good, so I ended up using just the pink. And here you see the finished product. This is my avatar, Alberel, basically blowing a giant soap bubble on the Minecraft Band Builder server. Thanks to Rio the Rio for hosting this month's competition, and good luck to everyone who joins in.